Hey guys, welcome back. And today I've got another exciting new tutorial for you guys. Today we're gonna learn how to make glass in Blender, right? And yeah, just make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video for a bonus tip on on making some adjustments to your glass texture, right? But yeah, why don't we get right into it? All right, so I've got this basic glass created here, glass model here, right, that we're gonna use to apply a glass texture to. So this cup is what we are actually going to texture, right? I just created it with basic modeling like extrusion and scaling and stuff, right? So if you want this model, it's gonna be there down in the description, and you guys can, just download this project file from there and review it yourself. But let's start with how we create a glass texture, right? So the very first thing that we're going to do is we'll actually create it in cycles, because that's the easy part. And then later on, we are actually going to learn how to make glass in EEVEE as well, right? And probably get almost similar results. So let's start with cycles. So it's very easy to make it in cycles. You go to your material properties, that is this option here. Then you click on new to add a new texture. Now, can you see this option here that says surface? Just go ahead and click on that and search for glass BSDF and just click on that, right? So as soon as you do that, you can see that it's already creating glass. It's very easy, and you can just mess with this IRO setting over here. This defines how the light interacts with that glass texture in cycles or in EEVEE, right? So you can play with this. The higher or lower you keep, you're gonna get different results depending on that. So just FYI, and this is the roughness of the glass. So the lower you keep it, the more it's gonna reflect its environment, and the higher it is, the more rough it's gonna get, right? The more opaque it's gonna get. So that's basically something that you have to keep in mind. And yeah, the color is just basically color of your glass. So you can just simply, if you just don't want a plain white glass, you can just simply go ahead and change this color and change it to your desired output, right? So that's how you make glass in cycles. Pretty easy, right? Now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at how we do the same thing in EEVEE. So let's switch to EEVEE render engine, and as you can see, this, like, we still have a glass texture applied here and we have same settings, but we really cannot see at all as to what it doesn't look like glass at all, right? So we want to convert this into what we saw before. So for that, there are a few settings that you really need to keep in mind. So for EEVEE, you need to make sure that you are changing a few details when you apply a texture. So in your material properties here, can you see this option right below volume? That's settings. Just click on that. And once you do that, you get two options here, right? Blend mode and shadow mode. So you have to change your blend mode to alpha blend. And as soon as you do that, now you can see that it's showing some transparency, but still nowhere near close to what we saw before. And also the shadow mode, just change it to alpha hashed, right? Now, show backface, I usually uncheck that because it's just going to give me some weird results like these. So I'm going to uncheck it, but you can check it if you want to see what's, like, if you want to increase the amount of transparency that's in there, right? So I'll uncheck that for now. Then we can click on screen space refraction. Now, this is what enables EEVEE to have that refraction or have that light pass through the texture, right? And then we've also got subsurface translucency. So we're going to click on that, and the refraction, I'm just going to bring it to 0.2 meters because I was messing with the settings and I think that worked well for me. So that's what I'm going to go with. But again, it's slightly like glass, but it's still not transparent enough, right? Like, for example, if I add another object right in this, so let's go ahead and bring this into the center. We still cannot see this object, right? And glass usually is transparent, so we don't have that transparency on this yet. So there's one last thing that we need to do, and in order to do that, you just simply go to your render settings, right? Where we changed to EEVEE, and go to, like, just make sure that your all these three options are checked. It's generally a good idea to check them, but go to screen space reflections, and this refraction option that you see here, you have to click that. And as soon as you do that, now you can see that you can see your object in there, right? But it's not that visible, and that's something related to, so there are a few settings that you can tweak to get a better results. Like, for example, this trace precision, if you bring it up, it just goes ahead and makes it a little bit more what do you say, easier for or little bit more accuracy as far as light passing through your texture goes, right? So this is one thing that you can work with. You can reduce the roughness if you want, the max roughness, and then you can go to your material properties and go back to glass and just reduce your roughness in here, right? The roughness works a little bit different in EEVEE and cycles, so you can just work with that. And if you reduce the IOR in here, you can either, so now you can just see the effect of changing IOR, right? It really goes ahead and change the way the light interacts with your object. So basically, the lower you put it, the more unmagnified it's going to get, and the higher you go, the more magnification it's going to provide, right? So I think the best one that worked well was 1.4, and it just gave me the transparency and also the desired effect. I guess you can see it's already looking like glass, right? Now again, this might not give you like as realistic effect as you would like, and the reason for that is EEVEE is a real-time render engine, right? It's not exactly a like built for realism. So if you want realism, you can go for cycles, and this is how your glass is going to look like in there. But if you just want something to work with that almost does the work, this is how you can actually create glass in EEVEE, right? And it's basically almost the same. It just lacks that realism that cycles provide. Now, as I said, there is going to be a bonus tip at the end, right? So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and add some bumps to your glass, right? So for that, you need to go to that shading tab right at the top. And in this glass texture, now you can see there's an option for normal, right? So you can actually go ahead and add a bump node in here and just connect the normal to the normal. And also we'll add, well, you can actually add any texture, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to add a noise texture. And I'm going to take the factor from the noise texture and put it in the height of the bump node. And as soon as I do that, can you see it's already giving you interesting effects, right? So you can just make your glass rough or just add more patterns to your glass. Now we can similarly just add the same material here. Let's duplicate it, and instead of the noise texture, I'm going to use a Voronoi texture here, right? So let's add that, and let's change it to Chebychev, and we're going to take the distance and put it into the height. Now, as soon as I do that, can you see it's giving you another interesting effect on your glass, right? So you can just play with it, use different textures. Different textures are going to give you different results, and it's really interesting to go ahead and play with it and create multiple variations of glass, right? But I guess that's about it for the glass texture. I hope that you guys liked it and it was useful. If it was, don't forget to drop the like and subscribe for future videos like this. And if you guys wanna like check out more videos where I do abstract art, you can just click on the top left of your screen right now, and just click on the bottom left if you want to learn more about the modifiers. And thank you so much for hanging out so far, and I'll see you guys in the next video.